We have been looking at a rather deeply flawed game, and I think in these dark days we might want to look at something different, maybe a actually terrible game.
Well, you want to finish people off now? Is that what you're saying?
Mercy killing.
Are things not dire enough?
Maybe this will make them feel better by comparison.
No, but wait, Battle Royale, you can play Solid Snake instead.
You wish.
It's a Sony brand, right? Right?
Solid Snake is battling elsewhere. Unfortunately. But we do have Sweet Tooth, that's why we are taking a look at this forgotten game.
The ultimate markets in the very first word.
Yeah. That's why I did this after the tournament, because it spoils the tournament.
Oh look, a good character.
Yeah, a handful of good characters and some less good characters.
Yeah, hey Hachi.
Look at two fucking Coles in this roster.
You can tell how desperate for characters they were.
I mean, they don't even touch any PS1 characters. The Sir Daniel there is a PS1 character. No other PS1 characters in this game.
Hey Hachi.
Technically, yeah.
Heihachi, I guess.
Yeah, he was first in Tekken 1, so I count him as a PS1.
Yeah, and Spike from Ape Escape.
Oh, also Parappa.
Oh yeah, Parappa, yeah. You got me there.
Fat Princess was PSP? Or was it Vita?
I think PSP. I don't know. I never even heard of it.
Always there for me. Seems almost as eager as I am to show her stuff.
So our story is different from the one we just saw in Twisted Metal. Thankfully.
Yeah, fairly certain Sweet Tooth didn't want to fuck his ice cream van in the last one.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Maybe that was subtext I missed. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
It's still not a good story, but it is better than basically being a prequel to PT, where you're supposed to think that the Family Annihilator is awesome.
Wonders what I can do on my own. I'm gonna answer them now. I'm going to show everyone what happens when Sweet Tooth gets out of the trunk.
Didn't we actually do that in the last...
It gets really winded really quickly.
It's an unmitigated disaster.
Which is kind of a shame to say when there's Big Daddy and Sweet Tooth in the same game. It should not be a disaster.
Yeah.
And besides which, like, Big Daddy shouldn't be in this as a PlayStation character because it came out on the 360 first.
It came out on the PC first.
PC and 360, but either way, like that doesn't make sense. That's really dumb. Someone needs to feel very bad.
Yep, it's just the character they could get their license to. Meanwhile, there's no Spyro, there's no Crash Bandicoot.
And a really bad rendition of Master Chop Chop's theme.
And no Final Fantasy characters. I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy. I really don't like them. But they should be in this.
Obviously, they couldn't get Cloud, but I don't know, Squall?
Sephiroth?
Or Zidane from 9.
I think he's in FIFA.
Yeah, I forgot the Blitzball mode.
Pay attention to the background, which is more interesting than the combat right now. Those don't look like Parappa characters back there.
I thought the hot dog stand said hot gay, which would have been a much more interesting place.
I thought the same thing when I was recording this.
They could have gotten, what's called the alien from Destroy All Humans. That would have been good.
Oh yeah.
It's just the giant walker made me think of that for some reason.
Mm-hmm. That robot is from...
Killzone?
Yes, that's the one. I get it confused with Resistance, which also has numerous appearances in this game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lara Croft, couldn't they get her?
Yeah.
Yep, that's...
Fair point.
Definitely should have been here.
She was pretty much, to at least to my social circles, the quintessential PlayStation 1 character. If you have to choose one to represent it.
Or, like Chris Redfield.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because the original Resident Evil was like a really big get for the PlayStation 1.
I would actually say then that Leon would be more, at least once again, for my social circles. Resident Evil 2 was much larger than the first one.
Fair point. Just from like a historical sense, like the original Resident Evil was like the big deal, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to be admin at a huge Resident Evil forum back in the day. Oh, huge for that reference. So I spent a lot of time in that fandom. It's not something I'm proud of.
There are worse fandoms to be a part of.
We all did things back in the day we weren't proud of. It's alright.
Now the real fight begins.
Kaiju chop chop.
Yup.
This is what I'm here for.
That's actually awesome. Like, the basic idea of this game, totally great. I have no problem with a PlayStation knockoff of Super Smash Bros. It's a great idea.
If you're going to rip off anything, you might as well rip off the industry leader, let's be honest.
Yeah, totally. The execution is where it falls apart.
Yeah.
But the look of it is still pretty fine. I don't mind the look of things.
And for a mid to late stage PS3 title, it's not bad.
Came out the same year as Twisted Metal Remake.
I played this quite a bit with my brother and my son. But it was mostly because, there wasn't much good to play on the PlayStation 3, to be honest.
That's for sure.
Yeah, my brother doesn't like hockey games, so that's why that was out.
Yeah, I think I got this when they gave it away free on PSN.
I'm sure many did.
Played it for about 40 minutes and was like, why am I doing this to myself? This is hurting me.
You'll probably notice the costume change for Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, that was in several games that... Oh, wait, no it wasn't.
It was in Twisted Metal 3, actually. This is Twisted Metal 3 design.
Ah, bugger.
That's why I don't recognize.
Yeah, I don't know why they wanted to represent Twisted Metal 3. It's not even a game by the same developers.
Might be why I don't recognize it, because I don't want to.
Yeah, but how many costumes does he have in the series?
Well, in the series, I guess a handful. Like the first game is a very weird clown costume.
Yeah, but this is one that actually... I don't mind the choice, because this is noticeably different than the regular one. If it were just variations of clown costume, it wouldn't really be... I mean, I understand the choice.
Yeah. Like, it's fine.
What would have been a good choice for like the few PS1 characters that they've got is low poly versions of them.
Oh yeah.
Like how they would have appeared on a PlayStation 1 game, because I mean they did that in Resident Evil 6 and it was one of the few good things about it was the low poly skins.
And Metal Gear has done that a few times.
Yep, with Solid Snake. Did that in 4 and 5, I think.
And 6. No wait, 5. Yeah, 5. I'm thinking of
Survive?
What's it called? Peace Walker.
Yeah, technically that was originally going to be Metal Gear Solid 5, but because it was on a handheld, they were like, well, we can't do the big game on something so pathetic as a PSP. So...
Peace Walker is one of the best Metal Gear games.
Oh yeah, no question.
Also,
I never played on the PSP, but they ported it cheaply to the PlayStation 3, so...
Yeah, that was where I wound up playing it, just because the controls were better. Sorry, what were you going to say, Fiendly?
You can't change your costume in the middle of the tournament, so I had to record 2 separate tournaments and cut them together, just to show off this second costume.
You could have just shown an exhibition game. We would not have noticed the difference.
I could have done a lot of things.
Are you feeling okay? Are we going to have to stage an intervention or something?
Probably should.
You can't keep doing this to yourself, friend.
Yep, and also we unlocked different taunts and intros for the character. I switched to those in between the 2 different tournaments as well. I don't know why.
Deep-seated sense of self-loathing.
Yeah, that certainly helps.
I mean, I'm assuming, you know.
Or the quarantine crazy.
This was recorded before quarantine, actually.
That's more depressing.
Are you right now building like Jenga towers out of your own excrement, or? I'm getting a bit worried now.
It's called the Tower of Babel, thank you very much.
Yeah, this game just... I don't know why I couldn't stop playing it, but there it is. I also had to play it a bunch to unlock all the extra costumes and stuff. Because you have to be level 10 in order to unlock your costumes, and like level 40 to unlock your taunts and stuff.
Jesus.
Yeah. I've played an unreasonable amount of this game.
Yeah, like I said, I played this for like 40 minutes, finished the game as Isaac Clarke, and was like, cool, never need to play this ever again.
If I'm not mistaken, that's a DLC character.
That means you have DLC for this.
Oh god damn it, that's more depressing now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I paid money for this shit.
How do you explain that?
Oh, I need to go and make sense of my life.
Right here, I've got Baumusu's axe at least. That's from the Mark of Kree. It did not look this terrible in the original game. For some reason, it looks worse on the PS3 than it did on the PS2.
And the Kraken, who also needs to be ashamed of itself.
That's a Hydra, not the Kraken.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. As we've seen, every stage features a scripted invasion from a different game.
Yeah, I remember hearing that in the lead up to the game, and I was like, okay, that's actually pretty cool, and it's something that Smash Brothers doesn't do.
It works fairly well. It's a good way to represent two levels at the same time. And it's not like there's a shortage of levels. There are 14 in this game. We're only going to see 6 in the whole campaign. So a lot of it goes to waste.
Yeah, but they're playing Whole Devil's Pot of Timo, that's always fun.
One thing that the creators of Twisted Metal have in their favor that I actually appreciate is that their franchise character, Sweet Tooth, he's not some, mega buff Kratos like, and I know Kratos is created by the same team, but, he's slightly overweight, ugly dude. Yeah, but I mean, it's nice for a change, and it's been that I think they had it already in the first game, if not, probably because of the actors.
In the first game, he was like a really shitty clown costume because he did the live action thing. So we don't talk about the first game.
Oh yeah, those were brilliant.
Yeah. But in the second game, he's been a flaming-headed serial killer clown guy. Very creepy, but not like hyper-masculine and buff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's pretty much one minute. That it's the lack of the hyper-masculine.
Yeah.
It's much better than what they did with Kratos in Mortal Kombat, at least, where they mandated that he would not be allowed to appear weak in any way, shape, or form. It's like, fuck off with that. Like, they changed all the fatalities when done on him so that he wouldn't look like he was begging for mercy or anything. It's like, that is the most pathetic shit I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even do that with Jason Voorhees.
Yeah. Although the little Zeke with Cole there was kind of cute.
Yep, there's little, I think they're called minions or something.
Something like that.
They'll just float around and spin around. I chose the little sister, obviously.
Naturally.
Was Dollface driving the Axel?
Probably. I would think so, yeah. Because, of course, Axel isn't in Twisted Metal. No one's ever heard of the character Axel, just the vehicle.
I was going to say, oh, hello, Lesser Snake, but then I remembered Revengeance was actually a fantastic game, so I'll let it slide this once.
Yep.
I haven't played it because it's not my type of game, but the Ship in Ironicles LP made me love it.
It is genuinely, it's one of the best character action games I've ever played. Amazing soundtrack, cannot rate it highly enough.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I love it. I love to watch it, but I'm so extremely bad at those games that I don't enjoy them. There's no other excuse, to be honest.
I'm going to say that's a perfectly fine excuse. I know people that can't play Devil May Cry just because they suck at combos. So Like what? They love watching them though.
Yeah. I mean, one of my issues is that I got small hands. So I will never be a sax player, and I have a hard time with character action games because I have a hard time moving around without actually tapping the wrong button or not reaching correctly with the stick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I've had to do some ridiculous hand configurations while playing character action games, so I can relate there.
I'm fairly certain that Monster Hunter on the PSP crippled me for life. My friends at the time loved it and insisted we play it, and I'm like, I'm turning into some kind of claw-handed freak, and they were like, don't care, more hunting. Okay. You're buying the ibuprofen after this.
The number of times I've had to like hit the X button with my thumb and the Y button with my index finger.
Yep.
No thank you. I think this is a Jack and Daxter invasion in our Black Rock Stadium. This is the Twisted Metal level for the game. It's the worst level in the Twisted Metal remake, and it's the worst level in the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, it's... I have to say, like, the stage invasion thing is cool by itself, but the stages themselves are really uninspired.
Oh yeah, they're all basically the same.
Like, platforms, some high, some low. Have fun.
Sometimes they hover.
That is a consistent problem with everything in this game. All the characters are basically the same. All the attacks are basically the same. Like, there's no variation in anything, anywhere. Always feels like you're doing exactly the same thing, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, you would have thought they'd have worked that stuff out after, like, the 90s with all the Street Fighter clones, where every character was the same except one had a fireball. Or even, like, Mortal Kombat, because all the characters in that were really bad in the first game. I've probably just really pissed off someone there as well.
Hey, we got an achievement.
So is that for using Sweet Tooth Super enough times?
It is for using the maxed out Sweet Tooth power attack on the Sweet Tooth level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you did the super earlier.
Yeah.
And I was correct, Dollface drove the axle.
Yep.
And that's going to be weird.
There's a different achievement for using the correct maxed out power attack on the correct level for each character. Pointless though it may be.
Prepare to bleed.
Yeah, I gotta max out those achievements somehow.
Yeah, basically. A lot of them are based on the online multiplayer, which you can't play anymore.
Yay, that's always fun.
Yep. This wasn't a particularly incredible take of the gameplay, but I just like that costume that Sir Daniel has there.
Goblin thing.
Yeah. Some kind of dragon thing. I don't know if that's from the game, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I never really played the medieval games back in the day. I was just more in love with the fact that the PS1 had RPGs and we were getting them.
And Medieval had that remake recently. I didn't hear anyone really talk about it, even though that was a cool idea.
Yeah, I kind of forgot it came out.
Yeah.
Everyone was really hyped for it, and then it was like, okay, go on out.
We had one day in the sun, then nobody cared anymore, which is probably an indictment.
Now right here, I'm doing my taunt, and it is making me lose my super energy. Every time I do my taunt, I throw my super energy all over the ground. It is actively detrimental to taunt in this game.
That seems self-sabotaging.
Yeah, it's like mechanically discouraged to do taunts. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, my understanding is that taunts usually get you some kind of super energy.
They really should, yeah.
Am I wrong, or...?
They're supposed to in every other game I played, but not in this game.
Okay, this is a good invasion, a good combination. I have forgotten about this.
Yep. This one is pretty cool. It's Bioshock Infinite, which does not have any characters in this game, but it still appears in several levels.
You would have thought Booker would have been in this if they were going to do, like, Infinite specifically.
Yeah.
They actually, since the Big Daddy is shown at the second DLC of...
Yeah. Oh, we all remember that.
Sorry, but I really enjoyed the Burl at Sea DLC. I like what they did with the story, and I enjoyed playing them.
It was the best of a bad bunch, is all I'll say about that.
I enjoyed Infinite. It's a really good game. I've played it several times.
To quote fellow Let's Player, the J of Spade, he once tweeted, "I just heard someone say that Bioshock Infinite was a hidden gem. Well, I wish they hid the fucker better."
Okay, I can say this as I consider Ken Levin probably my favorite game design. He's a moron, but I love his game. I played System Shock 2 and Bioshock 1 to death, both of them.
Oh yeah, System Shock 2 is legitimately one of my favourite games. And controversially, I also love the hell out of the soundtrack. I know a lot of people don't.
Same. I also enjoyed the soundtrack. I had it as my first MP3 ringtone, one of them. But then we come to Bioshock 2. I have never managed more than like 1 hour 40 minutes in that. It's so goddamn.
See, I love Bioshock 2.
Sorry, but it's so damn bad. Everything is bad in it.
Controversial takes, the episode.
Yep.
But, okay, that take is not controversial. Yours is.
No, me saying that I like it almost as much, if probably not more, at least from a gameplay perspective. I like it more than the original. Then that's probably going to raise a few hackles, but...
Yeah, and it's well deserved.
I've mostly heard that it's mediocre.
I mean, again, a lot of people don't like it because it's the storyline, but that's a whole thing that I could get into. I'm not gonna, but I could. Be warned.
That last level I kept in because Heihachi in a diaper.
Well, yeah.
Sexy.
And that was the last level. At this point, we get into our rival battle.
So pleasing to the senses.
Oh, please tell me it's Clank.
No such luck.
Of course it has to be, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can match it.
David Jaffe's 2 murder sodas going at it, finally.
Oh my god, the edge.
Well, get a load of
And here was me thinking I would need the whole chair.
Chapter A and Chapter B in his why did he get sectioned dossier.
Also, Sweet Tooth being mildly transphobic. That's great.
Cool.
I actually didn't read that, so I'm happy with that. But
Yep.
Oh, Kratos going for maximum daddy there, by the way. Which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, long before he canonically had a son. Because I think in the first game he had a daughter that he killed.
Calliope, yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah. They had one of the PSP games was all about that whole thing as well.
Ah.
It was, I think it might have been Chains of Olympus. It was about Kratos before he became the Ghost of Sparta. There's a quick time event where you have to push your daughter away. I was just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me with this.
Press F to not murder daughter.
sounds like an pref F
Basically, yeah.
for respect.
Yep. We both got there, yeah.
Leave those F's in chat, friends. Oh wait, this isn't extreme.
The last few battles have been 3 counts, so as soon as we get 3 kills, the battle's over. Which is why they've gone much faster than the earlier battles did.
Yeah. I've played one God of War game, and it was some old cell phone game.
Huh.
It was pretty fun, considering it was a cell phone game, and before the app era.
I had a weird yen for playing God of War 3 recently, and I forgot how much fun it actually is. Like, I never really got into the reboot much. I don't know why, it just never clicked with me, but God of War 3, definitely a pro play.
The whole God of War series is solid. I've never heard of a bad one, at least.
Last quarter of the first one is terrible, because by all accounts they didn't playtest it properly. So the entire Hades section is just painful.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't even remember it. That was so long ago.
It's pretty much the only part of the game I do remember, which shows what kind of an impression it left on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons this game had a hard time really getting me is that after Nintendo 64, I didn't really play console games at all.
Yeah, then you would have missed basically all the characters in this game. Yeah.
Holy crap, is that an Ava? I swear to God, it looks like something from Evangelion.
It does look like Unit 1 in that picture alone.
Yeah.
Absolute power is a seamless illusion.
They didn't bother to subtitle this, and I don't give a shit. Fuck it, I don't know what he's saying.
Wait, is Pavarappa the end boss?
No.
No, this guy is Polygon Man. Back when the PlayStation first came out, they tried to create some kind of a mascot for the PS1. So they had this guy who would appear in print adverts. That's literally where he comes from. He is a very obscure character who showed up in adverts.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
We never had video game ads back in that day in Sweden, so
I used to get a lot of US gaming mags, like EGM. So, because like the UK release schedule was terrible.
I know we have the same.
Yeah, and there were a lot of games, great games, that never got European releases. So I would tend to get the American mags because they were a lot more interesting and because they were filled with games which I knew I'd never get. So I was just torturing myself, really. But yeah, that's where he comes from, US print ads. I don't know if there were any TV ads featuring him, but I kind of doubt it because like CG wasn't good enough back then.
I figured this was just a rip-off of the wireframes from Super Smash Bros.
No, predates them by about 6 years.
Good on them.
By the way, I just realized if they were to bring in someone from Resident Evil, Nemesis,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or
instead
Mr.
of a main
X.
character.
But Nemesis, yeah, because you can also do range attacks and grabs.
Mr. X before the remake wasn't really that much. I mean, he was not a bad part of the Resident Evil 2, but he was not as big of an entity as the Nemesis.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Birkin would probably be better, like with the pipe.
Yeah, that would work better. But that's why I think Nemesis, because he was the focus of a game. Birkin wasn't really the focus of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Resident Evil 2 is kind of a mishmash of bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot going on. I mean, he was the true final boss, Birkin.
Yeah. Never thought about that.
Or, yeah, that reminds me, Tofu would also work as a character.
Yeah, Tofu would be a summon. You just show up, make some random noises, and then go away.
With a one-hit kill knife.
This character in the background that our wireframe guy is turned into. We'll be seeing that thing again.
Spoilers for Mecha Boobs.
Oh. I had completely forgot about that part.
Yep.
Somehow I hadn't. I don't know why.
She also shows up in the Columbia level if we had played that, but we didn't.
Like, I've completely forgotten about 99% of Mr. Grimm's story, but the third story definitely sticks in my mind for various reasons.
We'll get to enjoy those as soon as we finish up this thing. We haven't even touched on the mechanics of this game.
Because everyone knows the mechanics
Should
of
we?
this game.
Have you played Smash Brothers? Congratulations, you played a better game.
Actually, the mechanics in this game are nonsense. They don't make any sense at all, and I don't think they are obvious to anyone. I've played this game for hours, and I don't understand the mechanics at all. So basically, you can only kill enemies using your super attacks. So the only reason you attack anybody is to grind up super energy so that you can do a super attack. Damaging enemies does nothing. They will be one-hit killed by your super attacks whether they have full health or no health. There's no health bars anyway, so none of that matters.
And you can't ring out.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's no environmental damage or anything. There's background characters that'll attack you, but, yeah, attacking enemies doesn't matter. Killing enemies doesn't matter. It's all for points. I have no idea what this game is about, basically.
Welcome to PlayStation All-Stars, where the points don't matter and the kills are meaningless.
Exactly, this is barely a fucking game.
So this isn't really Smash Bros. This is Mario Party.
Yeah, it's like a Mario Party minigame, stretched out for a half hour. That you would presumably spend like $50 on when it came out?
Something like that, yeah.
Yep.
Was it really full price?
Yeah.
It must have been, yeah.
Oh dear.
Like, they were trying to hype it up as the next big thing, and they were talking, like, I swear at one point they were talking about, like, starting up an animated series or something, because they always do with these things.
Yeah.
And then it got released. I'll say released, it more, like, landed in the shop floor with a damp squelch, and it just killed the hype for it immediately.
Yeah.
I remember there were a few copies that got released early, and people were so excited because, like, this was going to be like the Smash Brothers killer, and then people were just like, "Oh no, they've made a terrible mistake."
Yeah, like I said, great idea. Awful execution. Truly irredeemable. Didn't even point out that the version of Dante in this game is the reboot. Dante. Who had to be debooted because he was so awful.
Again, just so much I could say about that terrible, terrible game.
Yep. Lucky for them, the reboot had not been released yet as of the release of the All-Stars, so no one knew how bad he sucked.
No, he's totally going to be the new protagonist, and everyone's going to love Pooch at Dante.
Ah, well. Bioshock Infinite also wasn't out yet as of the release of this game, so maybe that's why they didn't put in Booker. They didn't want to spoil it.
Maybe the whole thing was, like, cursed from the beginning, because it's filled with, like, all these games which are due to come out, and the only one featuring in the game, and the only one that's any good is Revengeance.
Yeah.
All the others is just, like, terrible.
Not really.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I still can say that Bioshock Infinite is probably the best game of that year even. Okay, it was a rather weak year, but...
Damned by faint praise. There you go. The year was shit, so it was the best of a bad bunch, really.
But I mean, last year was rather mediocre, but the best game of the year, Disco Elysium, was probably the best written game ever. So...
I haven't gotten around to playing it, but...
do it.
You're not my real dad.
There were very few Disco Elysium characters in this game, though, so...
Yeah.
Disco Elysium is a game where I lost a logic fight against Diary, and I felt as a player, holy shit, I did. That's a fair game.
Inland Empire for Smash.
And since I couldn't stop playing this game, I recorded a little run-through of the Loco Roco level, which is actually really, really cool, and they didn't put it in the campaign for some reason, so I ran through that real quick. Halfway through, a Metal Gear breaks down the background and attacks you, so that's pretty cool. I'll probably put it over this meandering conversation we're having right now.
Yeah, that sounds...
And that's All-Stars. When we return, we will actually get to play Twisted Metal with a newfound appreciation, because it doesn't suck anymore.
Comparatively, or...
Comparatively.
It's a Grimm Brothers.
Because, like, I'm really thinking that smashing my feet with a hammer would be more fun right now.
Indeed.
You haven't been in quarantine long enough.
We'll get there.
Give it time.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a captive audience during this quarantine. And we'll see you next time.
Run while you still can.